Okay, welcome back to the 90s Rewind. We're here at the Brook in Ramsbottom, where Tom Hingley is going to be performing this evening. And Tom, now you've set up already, ready for the gig. And this is not arenas. This is not big, massive, huge numbers of crowds like it was sort of back in the early 90s. Is it something you miss, or does it now give you a chance to actually play and talk to people and greet audiences and chat in kitchens to local radio?
I mean, like tonight, I'd never look it's like looking a gift horse in the mouth. I never look at any gig in a derisory way, and I know that you're not implying that, but every gig's different. I mean, sometimes, I'm playing here in a pub, in Ramsbottom, but, I played at Soul Fest, festival, a great big tent in Cumbria on Solway Firth, back over the summer, and we did quite a few festivals. So it's sometimes I play with a band, so it's not the same every night. But I've been doing big and small gigs on my own for the last 22 years, so it's kind of become a bit of it's just the way that I exist. It's been a bit difficult to talk to people because you have to kind of socially distance, so it's not so easy to talk to people now. And I don't think since the pandemic, that's not really the question you asked, but people kind of want to do selfies, which I really can't do. I did some selfies about 2 months ago. I got COVID, and I really can't do selfies with people. And unfortunately, people don't accept the fact that you can't do selfies. I was talking to Pete Turner out of Elbow in a particularly crappy gym that we both go to, and he was saying that they were touring in September, and people were trying to do selfies with them, and their tour manager had to tell them 5 or 6 times that they just can't do selfies. So I do talk to people, but I can't really get as close up to people as I used to because it's just not safe to do it. And gigs. I'm not doing as many gigs as I did do, but then I did do loads of gigs. But we'll see what the future holds, because since the pandemic, I think everything might change a bit. So who knows what the future might hold. But I don't mind where I play. Really, I'm very lucky to be able to play anywhere, and I don't. It gets a bit frustrating sometimes when you're in a bit of a pub environment because people start coming up and asking you to play Ed Sheeran, which I'd rather remove my own face. Not that having Ed Sheeran is particularly good or bad. I just don't really see someone's tooting outside because I mentioned Ed Sheeran. I don't hear that. Look, it's a gig, but it's different every night. Sometimes I play in little pubs, sometimes I play in front of 3,000 people. I played at Shine On down in Minehead in November, so I think it'd be wrong. I'm not saying that you were typifying what I'm doing, but I don't think I do any one thing. I think sometimes I play, I was supposed to play here in 2020 and I couldn't do that because of the pandemic, so it's a kind of gig that was forestalled from then. But I'm not going to play music forever. I'll probably go on playing until I'm 65 or 67, and then I think I might completely give up because I quite fancy doing something else.
And is that the moving on to doing something else? I get the impression from you, you're quite a reflective person, quite introspective about about the nature of what we do in the performance side of things. What would be the next step, do you think? Or is it being left open?
Well, I'm kind of doing an album at the moment. I've done one album, which halfway through recording, a lot of the songs written during lockdown. Then I'm doing another album. My friend Gordon, I used to be in a band with him called Too Much Texas, and his mum died when he was quite young, and then 2 members of his family died within 2 weeks of one another just before the pandemic. It wasn't late to the pandemic.
And that's Too Much Texas you were singing with before you joined Spiral Carpets.
And I'm doing, he was a guitarist out of that band, but we're doing a record together, which is just really grief record. It's a record about grieving for people in his family who aren't around anymore. So we're doing that, which is, the songs are really good. So we're doing that. Quite like to do some maybe songwriting for other people, so I can do that from home. I've written another book because I wrote a book about Spiral Carpets called Carpet Burns, which you can buy it online. You can buy it from Waterstones or whatever, but you can buy it from my website, which is tomhingley.co.uk. So I've written another book. I don't know, so I'm trying to slow down a little bit because I'm 56 and I've got 5 daughters. It's probably time to slow down a little bit. I think it's probably time to let younger people do a load of work and pay all the taxes. I've done quite a lot. And I think that's true of all people who, I don't know how old you are, but I think a lot of people who are in their for 50s upwards, a lot of them are thinking, do I actually have to just get a value by working all the time? I think the pandemic's really made people look at the way we live, and you have to maybe value yourself in a different way. I've worked since I was 15. I think it's time maybe for other people to do a bit of work. I don't think it's my job in life to work all the time, whether that's writing songs or whatever. So might be time to let other people have a go at working.
Sounds like a very pleasant way to spend the.
A lot of people feel that way. I think since the pandemic, I think it's made people really look at their life choices and their, if you look at, they have this business program on Radio 4 every morning. I go to the gym every morning, 6:15, and they talk to a business person. And two days out of the week, they go on about the fact that we must get everyone back into offices. There's no way everyone's going to go back to work in offices. There's never. I might be wrong, but I don't reckon there'll ever be more than a third of the office space that used to exist being occupied ever again. I don't think there'll ever be more than a third of retail space ever being occupied again. So so if I was the Prime Minister of Britain, I'd spend the next 10 years turning all of that into houses.
Maybe the future's in politics. And there's the face. The face was pulled.
I couldn't go into politics because I've got too many embarrassing things in my future, so I couldn't go into politics. That would be impossible. And now I've kind of given up on politics. I just think that, and I don't know what you talk about on the radio, but just the present Prime Minister is so corrupt that him being in place is so corrupt that it's kind of made me give up in the political process. I don't know whether I'll vote in the next election because I'm so disgusted by the way that the Prime Minister has behaved. The fact that he's such an appalling person could be chosen even to be Prime Minister, then has been so awful as a Prime Minister and has been so corrupt as a Prime Minister, and the corruption has spilled out all through society. I don't know whether I'll vote again. I don't think I can be bothered. I think that's the problem with corruption, is it just corrupts everyone, doesn't it?
It's. I was going to say, we live in. People keep saying we live in interesting times. I think it's times that we're probably, hopefully, going to look back on at some point or another. So, just bringing us back to the music then, and we're going to finish up with your final music choice here. Now, you've chosen Massive Attack. I mean, not the. Everyone goes for Unfinished Sympathy, and it's an amazing track, but you haven't. You've gone for Daydreaming. Why that in particular?
Well, that album, Blue Lines, is just great. It's got so many great vocalists on it, and I don't know the woman who's singing on this track, but it's just really good. And it's the integration between the samples and the kind of groove, the rapping, the MCing in it, and the female vocal. It's just really good, and it's that kind of trip hop thing. From Bristol, it's multicultural. There's a lot of black influence on it. There's a lot of white influence on it. So just the way all those different things are blended together it's really amazing. I mean, we were listening to Plastic Beach, by Gorillaz the other day. We had it on in the kitchen, me and my wife Kelly, and I was saying to her, this record just wouldn't have existed if it hadn't been for Blue Lines. So Blue Lines sort of really was very influential to so many different styles of music and people who came after it. And it doesn't sound a day old, I don't think.
Well, we will be playing Massive Attack. We're going to play it right now. Thank you very much, Tom. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And we'll speak to you again soon. Good luck with the gig tonight.
Thank you very much. Cheers, man.